Hey, and welcome to the Jessica Paul podcast. I'm your host, Jess Paul, actress, manifestation expert, and mindset coach. And I'm here to share with you all of my secrets on confidence, success, and the magic of manifestation. If you're ready to dive in deep and see more success in your career, more money in your bank account, and more love in your life with a whole new level of freedom, then you're in the right place. I'm letting loose on everything you need to take back control of your life, up-level your mindset, and tap into your manifestation powers. I'm so excited that you're here. Hello, my spiritual besties. Welcome back to another episode of the JP podcast. It's me, Jess Paul, your host, your manifestation mentor, your spiritual bestie, all the things. And we're back for another episode, and we're going to dive in on a lot of the magic today. I'm really excited about today's episode, guys, because this is a subject that so many of you, like literally so many of you, have been messaging in, DMing me about. And a lot of you guys that found me on TikTok have been like asking me about, because it's something that I spoke about a lot on TikTok, and that is signs from the universe and how the universe is communicating with us. And so we're going to really dive into all about this today. We're going to go in on the miracles, on the miracle side of this work that I do, because so many of you guys are interested. And as I said to you before, if you guys don't follow me over on TikTok, I get really spiritual over there. So make sure to go and give me a follow over there if you haven't already. So yeah, we're going to dive into all of the miracles today, and how this can really help you in the manifestation process. Like, you know, a lot of the spiritual work that I do and the places that I take a lot of my clients and my students, is all because of that faith aspect here. That if you don't have faith, if you don't trust what's happening in your world, then it's going to be really hard for you to manifest, basically. So this is why we have this miracle side of things. And I have got so much that I can say on this. You guys know, like I speak a lot about this on the podcast, about some of the shifts I've been going through spiritually and some of the things that have been manifesting into my life because of that, and just the new levels really in my spiritual growth. And I love chatting to you guys about it. And there's, like I say, on this podcast, there's going to be so much more coming up that I can talk about. Some things that I'm not ready to talk about yet that have been going on behind the scenes that you guys are not aware of. That's just like on a personal note for me, I'm not ready to share. But when I do, I've got so much to tell you. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. That's just all about my spiritual journey. But today, like I said, we're going to dive into the signs, how the universe is communicating with us. But before we get into this really, really great episode, I'm going to give you a little life update, and I'm going to give you a sponsor as always. So life update for this week, guys, is a really great one. I went cold water swimming. I went in and into this open lake, and I went cold water swimming. This is something I had been looking at doing for a while, and actually, again, like it just manifested perfectly, because one of my previous guests on the podcast, Sally Wallace, actually invited me to go with a number of her friends as well to a lake nearby, because she doesn't live far from me, and we just had the best day out. Like, we had the best morning. We went there, we did a breathwork session first, and like had a little meditative start to the whole process, which was really freeing and lovely. And again, like I've had an expert on the podcast before talking all about breathwork, Leah. So we did that first, and then we basically all went down to the lake and just got in there, guys. And we were lucky with the weather. It only rained a little bit. Again, like for those of you guys listening, I'm from the UK, from the north of the UK, so it's notoriously doesn't get very hot here. But we were quite lucky with the weather, but the lake was freaking cold. And I just threw myself in. Like I said, this is something that I have wanted to do for a while, because there's a lot of health benefits to this. There's a lot of health benefits to cold water swimming. but for me as a mentor, like, and just for me personally, one of the biggest benefits for this is just getting out your freaking comfort zone and just going for it. This is something that I teach so many of you guys anyway. Like, you know, if you really want to up level in your life, you've got to be able to just get out your comfort zone. So sometimes I teach my clients to actually have cold water showers as well, which is not like, it's a really icky thing to think, but like it honestly helps you just step out that comfort zone. And that's totally what I did with this, because not only was I doing this in like an open lake, like, but it, you know, I was doing it with other women, and I got to the edge of this pier, and I was just like, I've got to fucking do this. I've got to do it. Like, you know, everybody's watching me right now. Let's go for it. Let's do it. And I did. And it was so liberating. It was just, it's funny when your body gets in the water, guys, like it just immediately adjusts. And that again is how I would relate to any kind of risks that you take in life, any of that big action that you take in life that seems a bit scary. Like as soon as you get in that water, you adjust. As soon as you go for the thing, you adjust. And it's like an instant kind of, it's an instant thing. So it kind of taught me a lot about taking risks. And I also met some really lovely people, again, like the women there, all like-minded women. And so we're going to be going back, and I'm going to be making it a monthly thing, which is really, really nice. So I would highly recommend, guys, if those of you, if you haven't tried it, go for it. Go and try it. Find a little group that does it. You know, do it with a group, but go and throw yourselves in there and see what it's like, because it's fun. So like I said, this whole experience of getting myself in there in this freezing cold water, because I am also notorious for not liking cold. It's taught me a lot about taking risks, and I always talk about taking risks a lot. It's literally how I've built my business. It's how I've built my career. It's how I've manifested the things I've wanted in life, because I'm pretty good at taking risks. I'm pretty good at going for it when I need to go for it. A lot of the time, like, you know, we can be good at taking these risks, but also we've got to understand what our intuition is telling us to take the risks in, you know? And for that reason, like, there's some big risks that I'm taking currently right now, or big changes that are going to be happening in my world, in the JP world. And I'm really, really freaking excited by it. It's almost like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. But I think that I'm going to do a little announcement for you guys at the end of this week, really, to chat to you a little bit about what is going on in my world and what's changing, and yeah, just so that you guys can stay in the loop. Because like I said, if you don't take these risks in life, if you don't go after what it is you freaking want in life and stay true to yourself and stay authentic in that way, then you're not going to manifest the life that you really want to be living. And one thing that I pride myself in is that I practice what I freaking preach, right? I do the damn thing, and I teach every single one of my students and my clients and my community through my own experience. Like, I don't just sit here reading books and just relaying information from books. I do the damn thing. I live my life. I manifest the things into my life, and I teach you my tried and tested and proven ways of doing this, you know? And this is why so many of you guys want to work with me, because you see it going on in my own life. You see me manifesting in my own life. And there's some things I want to manifest in my life that I need to freaking go after. And for that reason, like, there's some changes happening. So I'm going to be dropping a little announcement with all of that, probably on the podcast. But that's basically that's the little life updates that have been happening for me. And as I say, I'll be talking more about that next week for you all. So my sponsor for this week then, guys, is the Becoming Superhuman Masterclass, which you can all purchase on replay. We went in with this masterclass. I had so much fun in there with you guys that were with me live. Oh my God, I just shared some of my biggest secrets because of some of the shifts that are going on in my world right now as well. Like, I just had so much to talk about. And so we just dived straight into some of my biggest secrets on just continuing basically to up level again and again and again, like making this a consistent process. Because at the end of the day, guys, we're always going to be hit with something. Like, we get hit with curveballs all the time, and regardless of how far we are within our self-development journey, like, you could have just started your self-development journey, or you could be like way in there, you know, but we're always going to be hit with something. And if you don't have the tools and the kind of mindset on how to shift through that with speed and keep your vibration sped up and keep manifesting through these moments, then we can really easily drop the ball on our goals. So this whole masterclass is all about basically maintaining that sped up vibration regardless of what the fuck is going on in your life. And I just had so much to share on this. Loads of juicy journaling prompts that we did inside there, loads of juicy affirmations that we did inside there. So this is your go-to for basically keeping that up level consistent. So regardless of where you are on your journey, if you're just starting off on your self-development journey, or if you are further along in there, these principles apply every step of the way. These are the things, these are the mindset hacks that I use every step of the way in my journey, every single up level that I'm doing and going on, right? So if you guys want to get in there and catch up on all of this amazingness, then I am still selling this replay for only £44 because I got so many DMs from you guys just after that I'd gone live on the masterclass being like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't make it live, or, you know, or I'm seriously regretting not going in live now, and asking how you can get your hands on it. So for the rest of this week, guys, I've decided that it's still going to be £44 before the prices go up. Because I'm not going to lie, guys, like there is a lot of stuff in here and the value of this masterclass is way above £44. But I'm keeping it this way just for one more week for those of you that regretted your decision basically, and now you're like, damn, I want to get in there and learn all of these things. So for now, for just this 1 week only, it's still going to be £44. If you want to get in there, all the links are going to be in the show notes, and if you've got any more questions, make sure to just drop me an email and let me know. But hopefully see you guys in there. So diving into today's episode then, let's chat all about signs from the universe, how the universe is communicating with us, how we can tell what these signs are and, you know, understand this communication, and then ultimately how these signs are going to help us on our manifestation journey, because that's the whole reason that we chat about any of this stuff, is because it's ultimately helping us become the most the highest version of ourselves and manifest the stuff we want to manifest into our lives. So this is, as I say, a question that I had been asked time and time again to talk about on the podcast, because we're constantly being communicated by the universe, guys. Like we are in constant chats with the universe all the time. And the fact is that we just need to be aware of it. We just need to have our eyes open to the miracles, as I like to say, because they're always being presented to us every step of the way. And they're being presented to us so that we can be guided in the right direction for ourselves, like so that we know that we're going on the most authentic path that we can go on, and that we're going to actually be living the life that we want to be living at the end of the day. And these signs from the universe can really help us. And honestly, it's just about really connecting so much more deeply with the universe, with your guides, with your angels, with yourself, and knowing that there is always something there supporting you. There is always something there supporting you. The manifestation process is a co-creational process. That means that you're working with the universe. You're not working on your own. And this can help us in times of like that adversity, that struggle that I talk about. It can really help us in those moments, because sometimes in those moments we might not even have anybody that we can chat to, or we might not feel like we do. And it helps us move through. It helps us get through these times, and it can really help us get through tough times in our life, but just everyday life as well. I live my life through this communication with the universe. Like for me, I feel it deeply on a very intuitive level, and I teach a lot of my students how to connect in with your intuition too, and how to really just open up your gifts, your spiritual gifts in that sense. But you can see these signs and synchronicities every single day. Okay, so I want to chat to you about the three main signs that we really get from the universe, how we can like tell what's going on in our own life, how we can tell the signs in our own life, and then basically I again give you a little bit of homework to do as usual, because we want to implement this into our manifestation process. Okay, so I'm going to be taking you through these like main signs that we get from the universe. So the first like big sign that the universe uses to like communicate with us is these synchronicities, guys. Now, a lot of you may have heard of these number synchronicities, so that's angel numbers. And, you know, like I could probably do a whole separate podcast episode on this, but like that's just one of the synchronicities that can come up, and we'll talk about what the angel numbers actually are. But there's other synchronicities that come into our life on a daily basis. For example, people that come into our life or messages that we receive. And, you know, these things in life, often we can look at and go, well, that was random. That was so random. I can't believe I just bumped into that person for the first time in years, you know, or I can't believe that person just messaged me and I've just been thinking about them. Like those things, those synchronicities, they're never random. There's never it's never a coincidence that these things happen. There's always a reason for it. So that's kind of the first big thing, is these synchronicities that come up. So let's chat a little bit more about the synchronicities that come up then. So the angel numbers, these are when you get repeated numbers that come up in your life that you keep noticing. So you might notice on the clock like 1111, or you might notice like the number 66 on a car reg, or you know, you might, you know, I don't know, I've noticed it before when I've been on like Canva when I've been doing some work, and it says the number percentage at the at the bottom of something I'm working on, and it says 44%, or you know, and again on your phone battery, like those sorts of things where you're seeing the same numbers show up again and again and again. There's a reason why these synchronicities are coming in for you, and they all mean a kind of a different thing. But the thing is here is that like a lot of the time people can be a bit confused and think, oh my gosh, but what does it mean if I'm seeing number 33 all the time, or 444? Like, what's the difference? Like, you can just hop on Google and like Google what it means. But honestly, guys, there's a lot of shit out there. And my approach here, and what I would say with angel numbers, and if you're seeing these repeated numbers, is you've got to decipher for your own intuition what the hell that means. Because for me, I know that whenever I see the number 44, which is like a big number for me, which actually, funny enough, has like died off a little bit now, but there's probably, again, a number of reasons for that. But when I was seeing the number 44, what I really got from that was, in the moment, my hard work is about to pay off. And I do really feel that with the number 44, like a lot of my clients as well that have, you know, had that number synchronicity come up for them, it's been a similar situation. And also for 1111, if you're seeing that number, that's like a very powerful angel number, and it's a really a number that's a very supportive number. I usually see the number 1111 if I'm going through a kind of a tough time in my life, a time that's either a time of grief or a time of real transformation, like something that I'm having to really work to pull through on a very deep emotional level. Often the number 1111 will come up for me, just as a way of my angels telling me, don't worry, girl, I've got you. You are so supported. You're on the right path. It's all good. And that's kind of what most of your angel numbers show up for, because as it says on the tin, it's an angel number. And, you know, again, like a lot of this stuff I teach inside my academy. I've got this whole new module that I'm teaching inside my academy with all of this, because there's a lot of like differences between your angels and your spirit guides and things like that. But your angels are really there to help support you. That's their job. It's to show you that you're so protective. It's like having this loving hug all the time with your angels, okay? So your angel numbers show up in your life to show you that you're supported and that it's okay. Like, basically, I've got you, girl. That's the main thing that I hear whenever I see an angel number. It's like, I've got you, girl. But you want to decipher for yourself, like, what they actually mean. And the main ways of doing this, guys, when you see these angel numbers show up in your life, is basically in that moment when you spot that number, you've got to go, okay, what are the thoughts going through my mind right now? What have I just been thinking about? What have I just been concentrating on? What have I just been mulling over? Or what decision have I just been coming to terms with? You know, what you want to do is you want to look at where you are in that moment. And then ask yourself, okay, there's a reason this number has shown up now for me. So what could it be? And you want to really talk to yourself in that moment. For me, I'm just seeing the number 1111, and I've just come off this amazing chat with some of the guest experts that are coming on the podcast. We had this really great connection, and I felt really aligned to these two girls, and I was like, wow, I feel like I've made some like really nice friends here. And I got off the call, and it was almost as if that was like my confirmation, like, yes, like you these are the right people in your life. That's what I take. It's almost the communication that you get from the universe, guys. It's almost just that confirmation that you're getting with whatever you're kind of mulling over right now or thinking about. And they show up to show that you're supported in whatever decision you're making or whatever thought you're feeling, So you want to look at why these numbers show up in your life and what you're thinking in that moment. Just stop, take a pause when you see that number and think, okay, what have I just been mulling over in my mind? What's just been going on in my mind? And how has this sign come up to support me or guide me or show me that I am on the right path, or maybe I'm not on the right path? You want to just look at what's going on in the moment for you when you see those numbers show up. And like I said, when I see my number 44, I know instantly, oh, yes, I'm on the right path. Everything is going to open up for me. My hard work is going to pay off. That's the first thing I think. And guys, what this really does for your mindset, again, like how this really helps you with your manifestation process, is it helps to keep you freaking going. It keeps you going when you see these numbers. Like, again, if you're placing this meaning on them and you're really allowing it to open up your trust, and you're not just letting it go as just, oh, that was a coincidence that I saw 1111 like 3 days in a row. Like, don't let it go as a coincidence. Look at it and actually view it to open up that level of trust in you. Because when you do that, it makes you want to do more. It makes you feel even more, as I say, supported and grounded. And that gives you more confidence to go for what you want, right? So that's just one of the ways, these synchronicities, these angel numbers, is just one of the signs that we get from the universe and really from your angels. But the other synchronicities, as I say, like people showing up in your life or like messages you receive, again, there's always a reason for that. So just keep an eye out on who's coming into your life. Like I said, literally in my last episode, guys, I was talking about how every connection is divine in your life, and it really is. So you want to look at who's coming into your life, who you're bumping into, what messages you're receiving, because the people showing up in your life, that's never random either. That's a sign in itself. So just as an example there, I actually believe in earth angels as well. Like, I believe that you human beings, us human beings, sorry, I don't even view myself as a human being anymore. Like there's earth angels, and there's people that guide us on this earth just as much as the universe and our spirit guides guide us, right? And there's one guy, he probably doesn't even know that he's one of my earth angels, but there's one guy, Justin. Shout out to you, Justin. I don't even think he listens to this podcast. He's someone that's in the acting industry that lives near me, and he's actually, again, like he was in my brother's year at school. So random, but he's an actor, and we bumped into each other so randomly because he worked at this restaurant anyway. And he asked me for a coffee, and we chatted all about acting, and he gave me this contact for this acting coach, and it actually gave me multiple, and it was almost as if that was my guidance, that was my earth angel to guide me down the right path for me at that time. And he's also, there's so many ways that this guy has helped me, probably unknowingly to him. Like, he doesn't, as I say, like if he's listening to this podcast, he's probably like, oh, that's nice of you, Jess. But like, you don't even really know, like you're an earth angel to someone too. That's like the most beautiful thing about this whole thing. You're also going to be an earth angel to someone. But these people come into your life, guys, to help guide you in a certain way. And it's a sign. It's always a sign. So just looking at who's coming in your life, who's messaging you, and especially those number synchronicities, this is like the first way of acknowledging that communication from the universe. And like I said in that other episode about every connection being divine, again, that's like you guys coming across me and coming across this podcast, because I've had so many of you say, oh my gosh, I've only just come across this, like I've come across you on TikTok, I've, all of this stuff. And it's like, I always say that is never a freaking coincidence. Like that was such a divine intervention from the universe to be like, okay, this girl is going to help you open up something in your life. Just in the same way that when I find every single one of my mentors that I work with, there's always a divine intervention there. Nothing is ever random, nothing is ever coincidence. So it's just really taking note of that, because it's really exciting when you do take note of it. Again, like I said, all for that element of trust. Like it's just next level elements of trust. So the next sign then signs that we get from the universe, in a slightly different way, but I mean, kind of similar to a lot of the synchronicities I was talking about, but it's when these physical things show up again and again and again in our reality. And the thing is here with this, guys, is that we can decide what our physical signs are for ourselves. So if we want to enter into communication with our guides or the universe, like we can use a physical thing in this world to ask for that acknowledgement. So what I mean here is that, let's say, for example, one of my big signs that I know that I'm being communicated with is the butterfly. When I see a butterfly, and again, it doesn't have to be a physical butterfly flying around. It could be a painting of a butterfly or someone with a butterfly tattoo on them. Like this is what happened for me the other day, guys. Like some girl started walking towards me and I just that morning asked for this connection, and I looked down and she got this huge butterfly tattoo on her leg. And I was like, okay, boom. Okay, that's my guides communicating with me, right? So the beauty of this is like you can actually figure out what it is you want to ask for, and you can ask for it. Like it's literally quite simple as that. Like you can just ask. Again, like I said, I go in on this inside my academy because we want to, we want to learn how to communicate properly with our guides and with the universe in order for us to manifest properly. So, but that's another sign, guys, is that if something that, like, for example, my mum's sign is a ladybird, like that's her sign personally for her. So whenever she sees that, she knows that she's in the right direction or something is being answered for her. And so like you can decide what they are. And I actually have such a good story about this. So when I was really starting off in my spiritual journey, and this was years ago now, guys, when I had my first spiritual awakening, I wanted to test this out because there was such a huge part of me that was so fucking cynical. I was just like, no, like, how can this work? And also just really curious. I was just like, okay, let's just test this out and see if this works. And so I spent the whole morning, one morning, just visualizing butterflies and saying to myself, okay, I'm going to see a butterfly today. Like that's going to be my confirmation. There's actually a bit more to this story, guys. But again, like I said, this is some of the stuff I go into inside my academy. But I am thinking about butterflies, whatever. I'm really visualizing this butterfly and I'm thinking, okay, universe, if this is real, if this really is real, then you show me this butterfly today. Okay. And I kind of demanded it. And listen, guys, this is the process of manifestation. You've got to demand what it is that you want. You've got to fucking ask for it, like anything that you're wanting to manifest in your life. You want to manifest that money, you've got to freaking demand it, first of all. Okay. So I'm like, okay, universe, I'm demanding you to show me this butterfly if this is freaking real. I visualized it. I then just let it go. And I went off about my day and I, got on with some work that I needed to do, whatever. And that day it was like quite a nice day. So in the afternoon, I went outside to go and read my book outside. And I was sitting on this step outside and I was texting somebody at the time. And before I know it, this butterfly lands on my hand, guys, like on my freaking hand whilst I'm reading this book. And I take one look at this butterfly and at first it doesn't click. And then I'm like, oh my God, right? And the first thing that goes through your mind when this shit happens is, oh my God, I can't believe it, right? But you don't want to be telling yourself that because the whole point is that this is built on your belief, right? And your faith. So I was like, whoa. And then when that had happened, I then looked up from my book, because I had my head in my book, and I looked up, and there was this sky full of butterflies. And this is no word of a lie, guys. Like, this is legit what happened to me. And this was really early on in my spiritual awakening. So as you can imagine, I was sitting there absolutely dumbfounded. Like, what is going on? Because prior to that, there had been no butterflies flying around. The day after that, there was no butterflies flying around. It was just that day, right? And so that for me is why now I've got this personal connection with the butterfly. But it really does go to show, you know, if any of you guys are listening that are maybe a little bit cynical, like, this is the way you want to go about doing it, to just fully freaking believe in this, you know? And that changed my whole trajectory after that. That was like such deep confirmation of this work and the law of attraction. It was such deep confirmation for me that it was like, that was it. It sparked off a new level of trust for me, which then helped me in my manifestation journey, you know, helped me manifest more into my life because I was so into such deep belief, right? So, and I just want to tell you the end of this story because this is the weirdest part. I then text the guy I was texting at the time, my friend Phil. I said to him, "Oh my God, you won't believe what's just happened." Text him that. And he texted me back almost immediately saying, "What? Has a butterfly just landed on you?" And I was like, oh my God, I don't know whether you can feel it in my energy now, because I still, when I retell this story, I'm still absolutely in shock when I tell the story. Where the fuck did that come from? So I texted him back, "What the hell, Phil? Why did you say that? Where did that come from?" And he was like, "I don't know. I just said it." Right? So here's the thing. Everything is connected. Everything is so freaking connected and intertwined in this world. And on a spiritual level, when you can really allow yourself to go into this, it is so amazing. It's just the most amazing feeling. So that for me was the start of this real spiritual journey for me, because it all clicked in and it all confirmed for me how real this really is when you choose to believe, right? So that was a biggie for me, guys. So that's something that you can actually do yourselves, is just think about what it is you want to see and ask for it. And pay attention. Basically, just pay attention to these miracles appearing in your life. Now, the other thing here with these physical signs showing up is there's two other things that I use personally myself that confirm a few things for me. So one of them is when I see white feathers. And that, again, I always take as a sign from my angels to show me again that I'm protected and guided. So if you guys see white feathers a lot, or if white feathers appear again in like those synchronized moments, like for me, I know that as well, the white feather is really connected to my granddad. And this has come through in psychic readings before. Again, actually, do you know what, guys? I think I do remember saying to you that I was going to recall that psychic session that I had with... There was this man that lives nearby. He's a psychic medium, and I met him at this mediumship event, and I've got some stories about some of that, which if you guys are interested, I don't mind sharing all of this stuff. So you might be interested in hearing more about what came through in that session for me, because it was really exciting. But what did come through was just this connection with the white feather and my granddad. So I always know that whenever I see that, I always think about him too. I always know that it's a part of him coming through. As an example here, guys, for this with me, is that when I was really ill just last month, and literally the day that I went into hospital. So again, I had to, for those of you that are only just listening, like I was hospitalized last month, and I nearly died from septicemia, which was a big thing. And lots of big changes have happened. Changes are happening since that. But, you know, when I was on the phone to the doctor who, again, I'm not going to go massively into this, but the last advice I was given was somebody was going to call me back the next day when I was telling them that there was something seriously not right. And if I'd taken that advice, I was told that I wouldn't have woken up the next day. But in that moment, a white feather literally floated down and landed on I was sat in the car at the time. It landed on my car like windscreen. Like it landed right in my eyesight. And I took that as confirmation, guys, that my intuition was fucking correct and that I needed to be seen by someone. So I got myself to A&E, I got myself to hospital, and lo and behold, what I was told when I got in there was, you got in here just in time. Like your body was going into toxic shock. So now that sounds really dramatic, and like it is quite dramatic. But what I'm trying to say here with that, with the white feather, is that, again, really pick up on these signs. These are all this communication is always there for you guys. And because I'm so in tune with it, and I know, as soon as I saw that white feather drop on my car in that moment, in that conversation with the GP at the time, I just thought, fuck this, I'm doing what I need to do. And I did, and that literally was what kept me alive, which just is, again, yeah, it is quite dramatic, but this is the way we want to view this. So guys, if you see white feathers, then that's, again, your angels really communicating with you. And the other final thing is when you see coins on the ground. If you see coins, and like you say, find a penny, pick it up. Like, what's the thing? I don't know what people say. But basically, like, that for me is a confirmation on abundance. Like, I know if ever I see this little coin on the ground, it's like, that's my abundance confirmation. And I know that I'm going to come into money because, again, I'm always manifesting that money. And that's my other little sign, guys. So if you see white feathers or coins on the ground, as well as all the other like physical signs, like the butterfly or anything that is your sign personally that shows up for you, that is all communication from the universe. So the final like main sign then, guys, from the universe, and like, let's be honest, there's so many signs, because I don't want you guys to overthink this or be like, oh my gosh, now I've got to constantly be looking out for these things. Like, that's not how this works. Like, you're being communicated with all the time. So that means even in the most subtle of ways, and it doesn't mean that we always pick up on it, but if we're asking to pick up on it and we're asking for something specifically, then we do see it, right? Or if our guides or our angels really need us to know a message, we will see that thing. It will show up, okay? But there's so many ways that the universe communicates with us. But again, like I said, these are kind of the main things that I know of anyway. So the final thing really is when things break down. Okay, when things break down in your world, that is the universe's way of communicating with you to show you, okay, this is not the right thing for you. Or it's either a confirmation that's maybe something you've been mulling over or a decision you've been making. It's like, here's your confirmation. I'm going to break down this part of your life so you know that that's not right for you in this moment, for this time of your life, right? So a real confirmation, you know, for me, literally only recently, is that, you know, I've been wanting to, and again, this is what I'm talking about with this announcement that I'm going to make about my business and things moving forward for me. You know, I've been wanting to shift my business up in a few ways. And because of that, like, I've been finding that a lot of time has been going into certain areas, and I want time to go into other areas of my life, right? And I recently had a couple of one-on-one clients pull out of working with me for financial reasons, guys, right? Now, I could either look at that and go, oh my gosh, woe is me, like my clients are leaving, like, you know, what's going on here? Or oh my gosh, I'm going to lose money or whatever. Like, you can either view these things like that, or you can take the sign. And for me, it was such a huge confirmation because of everything I was mulling over about the direction of my business and stuff that I wanted to do. And it was like, well, Jess, you know, if you've got this many one-on-one clients you're working with, or this many people that are, you know, in your life right now, you're being distracted from what it is you really want to be doing. And that was like a huge confirmation, a huge sign for me. So you can either view these things as, oh my gosh, things are breaking down, this is awful. Or you can look at it and go, this is why it's happening. It's the universe basically being on my side, supporting me, saying, yes, these things you have been making a decision around or you have been thinking about, they are correct. Carry on, keep going. I've got you, girl, right? It's that kind of feeling, okay? So that again, is how you're going to really see the communication from the universe. What in your life is breaking down right now? So again, I always relate it back to when my ex left me, because that was such a huge breakdown in my life. Like, I was so sad around that time. It was such a huge change in my life, and it was around the same time as the pandemic. So like when it first hit. And so everything started crumbling, but you can either look at these things breaking down as a bad thing, or you can look at them as a huge sign from the universe that you are gonna head in the right direction for you. Things always break down to break back up, to build back up, sorry. So it's like that phoenix rising from the ashes type feeling. Like, and you know what, guys, like, I feel this all the freaking time. This is another reason why I can keep going and going and going and keep up leveling, because I don't ever view these things as a negative thing in my life. Like, I will always take it as such a huge sign from the universe that yes, what I have been thinking has been correct. Let's move with it. Let's flow with it, rather than kind of like getting blocked and bogged down and stuck with these things that go on in your life. So if you have had something break down in your life, just assess that and have a think about how that could be guiding you, redirecting you to where you're supposed to be going in life. And again, that's another huge, huge communication from the universe. So overall, guys, as well, you know, and I guess this is kind of a bonus other one, like maybe this is another sign. Maybe I should have just done like 4 signs. But the final thing here really is that your intuition is everything. Your intuitive gifts are everything. Everything that you feel on an intuitive basis is the biggest sign ever from your guides, the universe, your angels, because it's coming through you, and it's coming through you every single freaking day. And so if you're not in tune with that intuition, if you don't know how to really access that intuition, what it really, like how to go about understanding that intuition, then you're blocking off a like massive amount of guidance there for yourself in what is the right thing to be doing, the right direction to be going in. Because when you lead through your intuition, you are leading through alignment. So it's always going to work. Everything is going to work if it's coming from an intuitive place. So your intuition is one of the biggest signs of them all. And it comes through you. And it's like honestly so freaking empowering to know that we have this sense within us that we can use. But again, like I say, this is something that I go in on inside my academy with my students, because a lot of the time we can get confused about how to actually access this intuition, what it really means. And we get a little bit confused between intuition and fear sometimes, because, you know, our ego can get in the way. And so being able to really be in tune with that, clear all the energy out the way and be really in tune with your intuition is one of the biggest ways, one of the best ways of manifesting anything. I live my life through intuition. I teach all my clients to live their lives through intuition. It's the reason why I grew my business so quickly. It's the reason why my acting career took off. It's the reason why it's just the reason why I've manifested anything into my life, because I always lead first through intuition. And because of that, I can make some big, bold, rash decisions sometimes. Like I can cancel things last minute, or I can like launch things last minute, because it's always coming from an intuitive place for me. Again, I could do a whole podcast episode on intuition, because it's just a biggie. Like I could talk about it for days. But it's a big thing that I teach inside my academy. So if you guys know that you want to dive further into that, if you guys know you want to dive further into any of this work, drop me an email with your thoughts on any of this and like any questions that you may have, because like I say, my academy is going to be up and running again very soon. So if you want to get on the wait list for that and you want to be the first to be in there and learn all of this stuff, then definitely drop me an email and let me know. But that really is kind of the biggest sign, I would say, is leading through your intuition. And all of these other signs and synchronicities that I've been talking about, they all build upon that and they help guide you in the best possible way for you. So just to recap then, the main things I would say about signs and synchronicities and communication from the universe is to just freaking pay attention. Like, be aware, guys. Open your eyes up to the miracles because they're always there for you. Always, and always have been. So even if you feel like you're so disconnected from the universe right now, which by the way, we can go through phases of being like that. Like, we can go through dark night of the soul phases. We can go through phases where we feel like we're in a bit of a void. And again, like, that's why you want, you know, a mentor or a guide to help you through those moments, which I help every single one of especially my one-on-one clients. Like, we go in deep with a lot of this stuff because it's really what makes, as I say, if you're a business owner or if you're an actor or if whoever you are, like like your career takes off when you are in tune with these things. So paying attention, basically, just keeping your eyes open because these things are always flying in to your path. Like, you know, they're always here for you to guide you, to support you. Again, recapping, literally the first thing is those synchronicities. So the angel numbers, any other synchronicities of people coming into your life, it's never random, guys. The next one is those physical signs. So, you know, if you've got a sign yourself, a personal sign, like I've got, my sign is the butterfly. I've got a few others as well that I use. Those coming into your life, as well as white feathers and coins on the ground to signify that kind of support and abundance as well. Those things coming in. And the third thing is really that breaking down feeling to build you back up again. Like, when things break down in your life, it is always a very clear sign from the universe to let you know that there is a different direction that you can be taking here that's the best one for you. Not all the time, guys. Sometimes we don't want to take everything as like a giving up feeling. It's not about that. It's about tuning further in with your intuition and going, okay, what decisions have I been mulling over right now? And maybe this is my sign, because that has broken down in my life. That's my sign to show that I should be going in this direction, should be going in this other direction. And rather than viewing it as a negative thing, you're viewing it as a really freaking positive thing. Like, you're always guided. And finally, like I said, your intuition. That is the main thing here. Being in tune with that, learning how to be in tune with that. And like I said, if you don't feel like you are, or you don't know how to be, come in, get involved with me, with any of my programs, but definitely my academy is the place to be if you really want to dive into all of that. So guys, I hope that I've just looked at the time like, what the hell? I've been talking for freaking 45 minutes. I love that so much. It's because I can talk for days on all of this stuff. Like, it's such a passion of mine through what I've built up in my life with all of this work. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this podcast episode. As always, let me know your biggest takeaways. Share it on your Instagram. Share it with me in an email, whatever you found helpful from this. If you have any questions from this, of course, I'm always here to answer them. And as I said before, guys, get yourselves in on the Becoming Superhuman Masterclass on replay if you haven't and you're regretting that you didn't get in there, because there's so much in there that you can dive into now, and it is my cheapest offer at the moment, so you don't want to miss that. And finally, keep your eyes peeled for this announcement I'm going to be making. It's like I said, I'm acting through my intuition with what I'm going to be announcing and how things are going to be moving forward for me and the business. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the up levels. And I'm just excited to continue supporting you guys and, leading you through this spiritual growth, your mindset growth, and basically manifesting the life of your freaking dreams. So much love to you all. Let me know how you found this, and I'll chat to you all next week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who you think would love it too. And if you want to let me know how you found it, just screenshot this episode, add it to your Instagram story, and tag me at I am Jessica Paul so that I can throw all the love right back at you. And of course, subscribe, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review to show your support and to keep the good stuff coming. Sending you so much love and gratitude from your girl Jess.